Wow. WWE Fastlane had quite the controversial ending. The Fiend is back. Did Edge just turn heel? Sasha Banks definitely turned heel. Heel turns ahead, and feet are stepping down the road to WrestleMania. It's your WWE Fastlane post show from... What's up, everybody? I am Capcom. That is John Clark in Central Pennsylvania. He's got the Penn State logo right behind you on the wall there. I just noticed that. I am coming to you from the Thunder Zone. Where are you guys watching the show? Shout it out, especially if you're with us for the first time. I want you guys sharing the link, getting your comments on screen. Let's hear what you thought of WWE Fastlane. Let's hear what you thought of WWE Fastlane. Also, let's see who's going to win. The man who was in the main event, Roman Reigns. Do you want to win this WWE Mattel action figure?
You could get a second one.
Yeah. I found this bad boy. Okay, all right. I'm still of an elite to mail out too. But we got this one here. Top picks, must have superstars. You guys can win this. Someone share the link. You share our YouTube, our Twitch, or our Facebook, and make sure you tag WrestleZone in it. So you have to make sure you tag us as well, because sometimes a lot of people share a show and we don't know. Especially if you're watching for the first time, I definitely want to get you guys involved in this. Share us and let us know what your favorite match on the pay-per-view is tonight in that comment, so we'll know that you were following and you're watching the show. And if you're on the podcast side of things, thank you guys so much as well. You guys can also win this as well. Do it only on Twitter. If you're listening to podcast audio, make sure you tag us on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. Tell us your favorite match on Fastlane and make sure and say, I want to win that figure. Okay, favorite match, and maybe you win a figure. That's the contest we're doing in the future for these big pay-per-views. So maybe we're going to find out who does it. Let's get into it. A lot to talk about. The main event went really, really long, but I loved it. Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, big match feel. But everyone went into this thinking like, well, Roman Reigns is keeping the belt. He's got Edge at WrestleMania. He's got Edge. Edge is at ringside. You knew there were going to be shenanigans, but how are they going to make this crafty and entertaining? And wow, did they make something really, really special? And they had you believing many, many times that Daniel Bryan was going to win this title and was going to get this belt off of Roman Reigns and get him.
He did.
He made Roman Reigns tap. This is the first time Roman has looked vulnerable, that someone was in his head, where he got outsmarted. He couldn't finish a guy. He couldn't finish Daniel Bryan. He couldn't lay him out. Everything that he had, Daniel Bryan had something to fight back with. The psychology from the beginning, Daniel Bryan is like a master of these long matches that elevate and build and build and build and build and build. And this is something where there was plenty of like different elements, like Jey Uso got involved to try and help him. The referee got knocked down. That was a great ref bump, by the way, too. But, Edge gets in the ring and he gets knocked out by Jey Uso. He gets up. There's a chair there. He hits both of them with it. And the referee succumbs, and Roman just rolls over it and pins him. Obviously, Edge cost Daniel Bryan his WrestleMania title match and the title. Daniel Bryan is still very much in the mix here with WrestleMania, even though he got pinned tonight, because when the ref wasn't looking and when Edge didn't see, he tapped out the Universal Champion. So there's no denying that. This is quite the interesting scenario. DJ saying Edge screwed D-Bry. Steve Schlegel, saying, hell of a match between Seth and Nakamura. We'll talk about all the best matches on the show. Tell us your favorite match. By the way, share the show. If you share the show and you tell us your favorite match, you're entered in that contest. Here we go. Michael saying, Drew versus Sheamus main event were the only good matches and the Alexa segment. I would not agree with that. I thought a majority of this pay-per-view felt like a pay-per-view and felt special. There was some genuinely like dumb things on the show too that we'll talk about, or the things that they tried. I wouldn't say dumb, things that they tried that didn't work. Vernon saying it was good for me. Continue to tell us what you think, though. John Clark, getting here. Tell me about this main event.
I thought it was a very, very good main event. I remember this is maybe a bold statement to make, but a couple of days ago, we were doing the NXT AEW post show where Dominic, and I think you also might have agreed, that the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match was the 2021 match of the year so far. Mm-hmm. I think tonight's main event has topped that for the 2021 match of the year thus far.
Like the running contender so far.
The running contender so far, I think, as of 2021, only 3 months in, but I think that was the best match of the year and the night by far. I get that people weren't happy with the screwy Jey Uso interference at the end, and the kick, the chair shot by Edge, the slow tapping out that was unnoticed. I think it was a very good storytelling. I think we are, and the storytelling is far from over, because as you know, the Royal Rumble winner has promised a one-on-one championship match at WrestleMania, but after tonight, you can't help but to think this is going to be a triple threat match. So it will be interesting to see how they build that in there with Edge's promos over the next couple weeks. But I think this is going to be the Sunday night 2 main event of the show. This triple threat match is going to steal the show. What do you think?
So you think this thing's a triple threat? I've been saying this for a while.
I don't want to see them.
I've been saying this for a while.
Where they do one-on-one Saturday and then Sunday. That's stupid. Please,
you think that's stupid? Let me know what you guys think. Stupid. Let me know. Do you side? Are you on Team Johnny or are you on Team Kevin with this?
Why would Edge need to challenge Daniel Bryan first? That makes no sense.
Here's why. Because Edge is going to have to pay up for costing him the title storyline wise. Okay, so that's how I see this thing breaking down in that regard. So you think he's also there's no denying this. Daniel Bryan made the champion submit. Not like technically it didn't. It's not on the record, but he made him tap out. All right, there's no denying in my eyes that he has a claim now to a title opportunity. But if you go and say, oh well, he gets it after WrestleMania, I think that's BS too. So the thing is, he's in that match. You think it has to be a triple threat? I think it's cooler if it connects from one night to the next.
So do you in your opinion, was tonight a heel turn for Edge?
You know what? I want to say, I guess, yeah, but I didn't get the complete turn. And there's many times WWE's done this in the past years because they simply have so much content to do. That it's not like back in the day when it was like they just had Raw and they just had SmackDown, and it wasn't like you saw clips of it on YouTube and Facebook over and over again, right? This is different. I think we'll know for sure by this week on SmackDown. But I don't want to say completely yes, but I got the inclination that it was, you know?
Well, I think if it was only Edge and Roman one-on-one, Edge would have to be the face still. But I think with Daniel Bryan in the mix now, he's by far going to get that fan best reaction. Although I still think no matter which combination they do, one-on-one, two-on-two, triple threat, whatever they do, I think at the end of night 2, Edge will be the champion some way or the other. I think he's going to walk out of the show as the champion. Is that what you think coming out of tonight?
Well, I mean, some people are kind of on board with me here. What about Edge versus Bryan night 1, make it a triple threat night 2? I don't know if that's exactly I don't know if that exactly makes sense. Maybe they do some type of scenario where Daniel Bryan has to win his way into the triple threat like he did at WrestleMania 30. I would be into that idea. If they go and say, night 1, Daniel, you want to be a part of Edge and Roman Reigns, you got to beat someone on night 1.
Maybe even Edge. It could be Edge. If you beat Edge, then it's a triple threat night 2. So maybe Jesse does make sense here.
Yeah, and I like that. If you're going to connect one night to the other and you have 2 nights of WrestleMania, do something with it and make it like appealing to watch both nights because you want to see the story be completed. I'm okay with that idea. Other people with different takes here saying this would be WrestleMania 30 all over again. I don't think that's a problem because WrestleMania 30 was awesome and I enjoyed it. I've heard other people compare it to like also a Wrestle Kingdom scenario, but we really don't know. We really don't know.
And honestly, if Edge kind of didn't really want to be that full-time guy, I could see it ending like that Mania with Daniel Bryan being the champion again, honestly. I mean, I think that's a possibility.
Let me know. Do you guys want a triple threat at WrestleMania? Jay Street is texting in here with his really cool mixture of Chicago Bulls, Chicago Bears logo. Says, I really don't want a triple threat match. Does not want a threat match at WrestleMania. He's not feeling that one. No matter what, this was awesome. I loved it. All they had to do is make you think Daniel Bryan was going to win the match, and they convinced you of that because, God damn it, he is so good at wrestling. And also, give it up to Roman Reigns, really adapting his style. He had to do something different with Daniel Bryan. And also still come off as conniving. Like the tap out was light. It was very faint.
Almost like he was like almost passed out already.
Yeah, it was very faint. And it was done in a way where it's like, I didn't look weak. It's very subtle what he was doing. He does some very subtle, well done things. And this is one of those matches where I enjoyed the ability to hear the trash talk so much because they were doing so much of it and added to the match. Like, Daniel Bryan saying, "We get that leg, dude. I'm going for your legs right now. Now I'm working your arms," and like saying stuff like that. I'm gonna break you, and Roman Reigns saying, "You disrespect me by being here," and like the stuff with him and Edge, I thought that added to it. I thought that added a lot to it here. Continue to sound off. Let me know what you guys think here of this main event. Daniel Bryan already got screwed twice for the title. That is true. It's true. David Ekman texting here saying, so it's going to be Edge versus Roman versus Ryan. He thinks it's going to be a triple threat. Let us know what you guys think here. I think this throws a lot of gasoline on WrestleMania, man. I'm a little bit more interested on this. This goes here. I'm more into the SmackDown side of things maybe than I was prior. I was looking forward to Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. I thought as a main event, it delivered. Your first night on Peacock. We'll talk about the Peacock experience because I know some people had some different issues with it. Or just
we'll also talk about the WrestleMania. I will answer your question.
Oh, did John Clark get his WrestleMania?
You'll find
tickets?
out. Tune into the end of the show. You'll find out.
Yeah. We will tell you at the end of I like the good long tease. Did he get his WrestleMania tickets that he's been going after? And did you get WrestleMania tickets? If you guys are listening or watching, let us know if you did as well. So let's get into the rest of the card. We'll kind of do like a catch-all question thing at the end too, if you stick around here with us. Other big matches on the show: Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. This no-holds-barred match was brutal. They went all around the place. They knocked down some LED screens. There was explosions in wrestling. I guess that's a big pay-per-view.
This was a much better theatrical performance of the screens blowing up than we've seen before from other people.
There were more than a few people that tweeted it out. I don't hold that against AEW with the explosions and things like that, man. You roll the dice, stuff happens. But this was cool. This also played to the brawling kind of like pace that you can see in Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. They had a real chemistry. I enjoyed the video package beforehand. They've maybe given us too much of these guys on television before this in terms of like just straight up matches where they were kicking each other's ass for me to like think this was amazing. But if this is the end and this gets Drew predictably, ready for WrestleMania and Bobby Lashley, I am okay with it. But this is a really, really cool match. I enjoyed the war paint look from Drew McIntyre, something special for a pay-per-view. And I still think Sheamus can have something cool at WrestleMania. Obviously, it'll be on the undercard, not on the top of the card. But let me know, what did you think of it, dude?
I thought it was a very good match. Very, very good match. All over the place, like you mentioned, back and forth. You could have been convinced at some points that anybody was going to win that match. It really wasn't a for sure thing until the end. Although I wasn't really fond of it was one of those endings where like Drew just magically gains the momentum and hits like one or two moves and then he gets the win. I think that kind of devalues Sheamus a little bit, that he hung in there the whole time and then it was just that one kind of sequence that took him out. I do think, unfortunately, that leaves Sheamus out of the mix for WrestleMania. The rumors were swirling earlier today that one of these two title matches were going to be a triple threat. Mm-hmm. It appears that it will be the Bryan, Edge, and Reigns thing. So, unfortunately, like I said, that kind of leaves Sheamus in the dark right now. Maybe the Battle Royal, I would assume, but I don't know where else he fits in.
We don't even know if we're getting a Battle Royal because there's still so much of the undercard of WrestleMania that's kind of like going to make its way in here. We know we're getting Edge versus Reigns, maybe Daniel Bryan involved in some match. We know we're getting Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship, and we know we're getting Sasha Banks versus the EST Bianca
and the
Belair.
tag match, the Raw tag match,
and the Raw tag match, which has already been announced. So, Fastlane was supposed to set up a lot more things for WrestleMania. Did you think the show overall set up enough for WrestleMania, or at least add more? Certainly the Bryan, Edge, Roman stuff felt like that. But there was no Bobby Lashley on the show. I was surprised.
I was surprised by that. I do think tonight they kind of solidified that we're going to get Randy Orton versus The Fiend. They solidified this past Friday on SmackDown that it appears that we're going to get, out of the blue, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn out of nowhere, which will obviously be a good match.
Yeah, a lot of history there with those guys. They've done a lot of matches, but if they get a WrestleMania match, I think that's a special attraction. Just because they've done it a lot, but they haven't done it in a few years. And just like you could go back to Shawn and Taker if you had some time between them, there are those the fight forever mentality of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens could be special. And for their longtime fans that have been with them, that could be cool too.
And from what we've been reading the past couple of days and the reports today were that we're going to get Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, but I don't think anything they did tonight really solidified that. Mm-hmm. Rollins with the win, that was nice. Everything else they did though was kind of, I think, nothing new developed tonight. I mean, obviously we got the Retribution stuff, but I don't think that leads in anything new.
There were some other developments. This one we saw coming for a while. We knew we weren't getting a straight up intergender match between 120-pound Alexa Bliss and 14-time world champion Randy Orton. But Alexa Bliss, with all of her demonization from the Fiend for the past few months on television, has been using every gimmick in the book, from flying fireballs and taking over TV screens to make Randy Orton spit up black goop, which he even did before the match even started. When he was doing his signature pose, he spit up this black goop. It was all gooped up, and he got Papa Shangoed before the bell rang. And they do all the gimmicks, and it was fine. It was a nice little angle. And now, from underneath the ring, with his burnt, crusty hand and a new mask that makes him look like the Toxic Avenger with a bunch of coffee in him, it is a new, burnt to the crisp, back from the dead wrestling zombie that is the Fiend. What did you think of the Fiend's new look? What did you think of him coming back? He hit the Sister Abigail on Randy Orton, and weirdly, Alexa Bliss sat on top of him. That was a little much. That was a little odd. There's a lot of
the way she had to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of innuendo with Alexa Bliss that makes me very skeevy and uncomfortable because she acts like a little kid.
I didn't mind that.
Yeah, all right. Sure. I get what she was going for. She was very, it was very goofy, ridiculous, and over the top. I like the way the mask looked. Obviously, everybody had a take on it, but what do you think?
I thought it was very, very well done. They obviously had to do something different than what they've been doing, and they did that. After a 3-month break, you kind of have to change it up a little bit. They certainly made it look like he's been through hell the past 3 months, so I liked that.
It looks fresh. He didn't come back looking like the same mask.
Well,
it's such a aesthetically driven character. You had to do something different with it.
But I'm interested to see how this looks because obviously tonight the environment was like completely dark. I'm interested to see how this looks in Tampa when it's obviously lit up in the stadium. Maybe it will still look just as good, but he has to win his match though after what they've done for him, and he can't screw this up. He's been known to receive controversy for his matches not being that good. He needs to prove himself next month.
And we're going to get a Fiend Randy Orton match at WrestleMania. We don't know what it's going to be. We already have people asking, is it going to be a cinematic match? Are they going to be able to do,
it'll be in the ring, I think.
You think it'll be in the ring?
Yeah.
Or we get the bad thing where they want to do some of the cinematic stuff and then some of it in the ring, or they can't just have a regular match. That's my take. They can't just have
if it's like a street fight or something, like, you know what I mean? Like a stipulation
match, something, like they
Inferno
can't just,
match.
They can't just have a normal match is all I'm saying. Like they can't they can't do that.
But they can't just have a cinematic match, or you're going to have the crowd sitting there for a half hour watching the TV.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing is what is this character going to be like now in front of an audience? Imagine what a live audience would have done if they saw that mask, and that new look. It was certainly a scary look. I don't want to know what you guys think here. People saying do an Inferno match. And this is a suggestion, a Buried Alive match.
Yeah.
You're playing all this life and death stuff. You're burning people.
Boneyard match.
You want to do another, but then
they could.
That's a cinematic one, and that's a way for the Undertaker, just to roll up in a motorcycle and just be like, "What are you doing in my boneyard, bro?"
The things they did tonight would not work at WrestleMania, such as the lights falling from the ceiling, the flames.
No, it was all Thunderdome stuff.
Yeah, you can't do that at WrestleMania.
No, and that's a pre-tape match. Everything about that match was, in the can. Yeah, it was not a live thing here. People like this Buried Alive idea. They would like to see that happen here. What do you think here? Does this improve the Randy Orton Fiend story for you? Because it's been really long in the tooth. These guys have been going at it since what, September?
Yeah, right after SummerSlam was when it kind of started there. I think, like you said, it needs to end, but I think tonight was a good refresher that kind of gave new life into it. So I'm okay with it now. It's only going to be 3 more weeks. People just want to know what the payoff is. I think the payoff is just Bray Wyatt wins, and then maybe Randy Orton takes a hiatus or whatever. But
yeah,
and
he's a character that you can put on the shelf for a month or two and just let him rest and come back and be cool. And also, Randy Orton can take the loss, and he's still Randy Orton. Like, he's Teflon in that way. So continue to tell us what you guys think here. What did you think of the match? What did you think of the build here? Overall, I really enjoyed the show. There were some things in the show that I thought were just kind of like meh. We didn't get Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman. Early on in the kickoff show, the pre-show stream, they did say that he was getting his knee looked at. And then in the show, we get Elias and him in the ring doing some, singing preamble thing, and he's on a crutch, and basically Elias is taking his spot. A lot of running around the ring, and then Big Braun Strowman gets to, choke slam him almost through the ring and win this match. It's basically a glorified squash match with Braun beating up two guys and Shane still on the run, limping away with a crutch. What did you think of it? I didn't think it did any favors. I do think Braun and Shane are going to have some wild, insane match with Shane jumping off some big giant gimmick thing, which is Shane does it. Yeah, so people are gonna be so mad if he gets to jump off the pirate ship. Kevin Owens says he wants to jump off that pirate ship.
I think that it's going to be, like you said, a very intriguing match with a very poor story lead up to it. Tonight did not do it any favors. And I don't see really how, like, if Strowman wins at WrestleMania, I don't understand how that benefits him at all. If Shane McMahon wins, I don't see how that benefits him at all either. So I think it's just a match that's kind of to get Shane in there as a big name with a couple high spots to get people talking. But I don't think it's going to be, anything that people were clamoring about at the end of the night. I think it's just kind of there to because they need some more big names and big spots, stuff like that.
He's always with us, and if you're always with us, you know this name. He is one of our top listeners. He is in the zone, so you got to say his name. Say it with me, Mr. James Espanto Fernando. Espanto says, I'm over Nia and Shayna being tag team champions and them as a tag team. The women's tag team match was the opener of the night with the women's tag team champions, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, taking on the odd couple of two single stars who will fight for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. This is our big heel turn. What'd you think of it? I thought it was a fine opener. Didn't think it was anything special. This is the second time they've done this on pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree with this comment only because I think they're both more beneficial as singles competitors, especially Shayna. But I think tonight, the sole purpose of this was to get Sasha to turn on Bianca so the WrestleMania match would make sense. People have been saying that this needs to be the main event of one of the two nights. I personally disagree. I do not think this needs or will be the main event of one of the two nights.
Do you think it's lost momentum since the Royal Rumble?
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but this is for some reason is one of those matches that strikes me as like an opener to the show, like an opening match on maybe say night 2 or something to get the fans invested, to give that really good feel-good moment to Bianca to open the show, to get the momentum going. But I don't think it's lost steam. I just think that ever since the start, it's been predictable, if that makes sense. Everybody knew she was going to challenge Sasha. Everybody, at least from what we think, it hasn't been confirmed yet, that she's going to win. Presumably she's going to win. So there's that. And then it's like, after that, then what? People like to look ahead, so.
Seth Rollins picked up a needed win as he's been kind of a goofball wearing ridiculous suits on SmackDown since his return at the Royal Rumble. He took on veteran Shinsuke Nakamura. Quick build to put this one together. And obviously everyone seems like the direction for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania is a featured match with Cesaro. People want to see have a big match. And Rollins going after Cesaro's former tag team partner Nakamura here. A lot of great stuff here. Love the reverse exploder. Love avoiding the Kinshasa. Nakamura didn't look bad here, but he did get pinned, and I do think you can still lose matches and look all right. But Rollins needed the win. He needed to look like a nasty heel going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel a little bit bad for Shinsuke Nakamura. The rumors from his Instagram, he's been commenting to imply that he's not happy with his position. He lost tonight there cleanly to Rollins. It's obviously to make him look good. I think Cesaro's in for a pretty sizable push after WrestleMania. I think this is the start of that. Very, very deserved, especially there with re-signing the contract. I think now that you have him locked in, give him that push now. He's going to be there. But you have to feel for Nakamura. basically losing again. But at least he's still there, unlike Jeff Hardy, who's disappeared in the past couple months. But, Rollins is good at what he does. He's going to be good at WrestleMania. It's going to be a good match with Cesaro, but I don't envision him winning. I just can't see that happening. What do you think?
I think Cesaro gets to have his moment at WrestleMania. They've given him one before, winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I don't think Rollins is a guy who could lose at WrestleMania and figure some way back around on this thing. After that, I think Cesaro needs to be created as a special star. You need to listen to the fans who've been saying for a long time, give this guy something. Rollins has had his world title, and you can get him back to a world title program and get him world title ready soon. He doesn't need a WrestleMania win. Cesaro does. And if that seems too predictable to you guys, okay, but guess what? That doesn't mean enough fans don't want to see it. I'm going to tell you an overwhelming amount of fans want to see it. You don't want just surprises for the sake of surprises, because then it just becomes clunky, right? It has to be smooth. It has to feel right when it happens. And it would feel right to see Cesaro win big at WrestleMania and position himself maybe as a world title guy after WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
And this makes him into a world title guy after WrestleMania. So I'm into that idea as well. Other people with different takes here, of course, talking about Rhea Ripley is being teased for Monday Night Raw. That was confirmed. We're going to get that finally tomorrow night. They've been teasing it with promos, but we're getting it tomorrow night for sure. What else do you want to talk about on Fastlane tonight?
Let's talk about the Retribution stuff in the pre-show.
Yeah, this was in the kickoff pre-show. And we had Ali versus Riddle. Fine match, but really it's Matt Riddle wins again. It's Matt Riddle beats Ali and his bumbling goon squad, Retribution, which has been much maligned and very critiqued and had so much anticipation before it debuted. And then it debuted and it stumbled a little bit, and they had weird names and people made fun of their names and their masks, and they added Ali as their talk piece and their member who could, it boosted that a little bit, but it was more just Ali dealing with these guys not being able to finish the job and win matches. So you thought the inverse of this was them turning on him. It was T-Bar and Mace attacking him after the match, giving the big old double choke slam. We heard some rumblings of this over the weekend. We even reported at WrestleZone.com that WWE was planning on breaking up this team. At least we're going to get some version of Mace and T-Bar, Dominic Dijakovic together. It looks like they're going to remain a team of some kind. No real presence of reckoning on this one, which was,
what do you mean?
She's had rumblings on her social media of doing something different, but not saying what it is. The report's up at our website. We kind of have it all together there.
I wrote it today.
Yeah, so you got it up there, John. So I think it's time. Retribution, you've exhausted anything you could do with it. It was a really cool, creative idea. And basically upset guys who want to, they shouldn't have been drafted. They should have forced their way into the show and given contracts and different stuff like that. And the masks were weird. So I think Mustafa Ali as a heel who's overzealous and talks like a politician, you can see in these promos he does on social media. If he does more like that, he could kind of get a more serious version of what you saw Drew Gulak doing a few years ago when he was doing the political politician type character. I think Mustafa Ali could do a really good job with that. And he's proved he can do great promos, even though he's in kind of a tough storyline position. And it also has great match. He's doing this right now with an injured knee too, by the way.
Yep.
So he's wrestling a completely different style. And I feel so bad for him because WrestleMania 35 2 years ago in New York, New Jersey, he was supposed to have the big match. He was supposed to have a big world title match. And, that didn't come together and he got injured at the wrong time. And now at least he has an injury he can work his way around. Hopefully he finds himself on WrestleMania in some form. I do think, this is a point where you can put a bunch of those lower mid-card storylines together in a Rumble scenario, a Battle Royal, and that could be interesting. I feel bad if Mustafa Ali didn't get his WrestleMania moment this year.
He's definitely not going to get his WrestleMania moment this year. Although I was happy to see they finally broke up the stable. I would assume, like you said, that T-Bar and Mace will remain as a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
Mia Yim will probably be Mia Yim again. And then I don't know what's going to happen to Shane Thorne. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Well, he can slapjack somewhere else on the show, okay?
And then Mustafa Ali will probably I don't know. At least he's still relevant, unlike Ricochet.
Let's talk about this before we give our ratings. You guys can give your ratings as well, the 1 to 10 on WWE Fastlane 2021. We'll also talk about the Peacock experience. This is the first show that's streamed on NBC Universal's Peacock. Big E versus Apollo Crews. These guys, friends, now no longer friends. Apollo Crews has his new Nigerian prince character, and Big E had a lot of momentum coming out of the Royal Rumble, and he's the Intercontinental Champion. Big E able to scoop away a win, just squeak it away. But that didn't mean that Apollo Crews wasn't going to make him pay for it afterwards. Seems like we're going to get more of this match, more of this feud, at least going into WrestleMania time.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we named a bunch of names the past couple of weeks that we thought could make a big like ladder type match for this belt. And then we had developments such as the Cesaro and Seth Rollins thing come, the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn thing happened. Daniel Bryan will now be, it looks like, included into the main event. So if they want to do a ladder match, their pool to choose from has certainly went down, which makes me think that Big E and Apollo will remain as a one-on-one type match. I don't really see who else you could add in there. The only names that immediately pop up are like King Corbin. He's the only singles guy that I could think of that really needs something right now. Nakamura obviously as well, but they just don't make sense right now, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind a ladder match, like a catch-all ladder match with solid guys. You know, everyone wishes Money in the Bank was still part of WrestleMania. You know, I agree with that too. Other people giving their ratings for this night's pay-per-view offering, the first one on Peacock. Give us the 1 to 10. The 1 to 10, you can do the points here. Steve gives it an 8.0, all right? Raw gives it a flat 5, flat right in the middle 5, all right? Steven Chambers is dropping a 7 on him, dog. Are we going to get 7.5 tonight, dog? Are we going to get your classic Randy Jackson 7.5? Nick is giving it a 7.5, all right? So that's pretty high here. Other people giving it a 6. So middle of the road, just it seems like I haven't seen anything lower than a 5, nothing higher than an 8. All right. So different takes here. So John Clark, what say you? What is your rating, your definitive, never to be doubted or questioned rating for Fastlane?
7.75.
One more than a 7.5, dog.
Very good storytelling, good matches in the main event there and throughout the rest of the show. Exceeded expectations very, very much. Mm-hmm. And just 3 weeks away from WrestleMania, it gets people excited for it.
Mm-hmm. Vernon gives it an 8.5. Daniel Bryan would have made it a 10. You know what? If they didn't have this main event, I think this would have been like a pretty standard, 5, 6 show, right? But that main event was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Really, really good match. Made me think, wow, they're going to do something special with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. And they've done something special with Edge now as well in terms of a different twist with his character. So I give this show, just like you, going to give this show 7.5. 7.5 out of 10. So mind you, it's pay-per-view scale, not TV scale. You expect more and you got more. Solid show. Also, this is a pretty long show too, 3 hours. So, that's another thing is Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns hit the ring at like 8:10. And I was like, are they going to end? Are they going to end this like at 8:30? But they went a long, long time. It didn't feel long. It didn't feel like it went too long. Really, really enjoyed the show. The stuff that was off was just off. It wasn't the worst stuff on the show. The things that were interesting were pretty cool. But I do want to know, what did you think of Peacock? Are you still watching it on the WWE Network? Because we're in this weird between phase here, at least for fans in the United States. Everywhere else, you guys get the WWE Network. WWE Network has some watch features in terms of watching live where you can basically, it works like a DVR, works like a live DVR. I guess with Peacock, that isn't something that is currently available.
Correct, yeah.
Though I could see it becoming available in the future. WWE became available, at least the full offerings of WWE Network live pay-per-views this week, starting March 18th. They do not have the entire WWE Network back catalog of all the WCW pay-per-views or ECW shows, though they do offer every single WrestleMania, and there are several pay-per-views from ECW and WCW that are on there, and they will have everything there, they say, before SummerSlam. I don't think it's too bad because mostly people get it for the new shows, the new pay-per-views, the takeovers, and the specials like Last Ride and the documentaries and stuff like that. Back catalog makes it worth it though. If you're outside of the United States, you still get everything, though. I watched half of it on the network and liked the pause feature and going back and forth. And then I said, let me see what it's like on Peacock. Let me see how it works. And I couldn't do that. So I jumped in and I missed 2 minutes or so of the Sheamus Drew match. But I'm doing socials and Twitter, so I'm going to see some of that stuff. Like if I'm watching a few minutes behind. I didn't mind it. I think it's fine. But one thing I did notice was a lot more commercial mentions on this show. We've seen WWE work in commercial elements and paid sketches. They did a sketch backstage. I believe it was Rick Boogs from NXT playing like an Old Spice pitchman character, and they worked in a WWE 24/7 match sketch to like do that. And I thought that was fine, right? It was simple and it wasn't too long. It was like 90 seconds, 2 minutes. But I saw a lot of mentions and a lot of like DraftKings and different things like that. Stuff we've been seeing more, but it felt a little bit more pronounced watching on Peacock.
Yeah, so I did watch on Peacock tonight. I knew before tonight that there was no option to watch from the beginning once the show started, and also no ability to rewind until the show is over. They are working on fixing that, but that's just not for WWE things. That's everything on Peacock that's a live event. It's like that right now. Mm-hmm. We also had I noticed that the Peacock feed was like a minute and a half behind the WWE Network feed. Now, obviously, that won't be a problem moving forward because they won't be on both. Well, I guess they will be if you're in a different country, but you get my point. I didn't have any issues the whole time. It didn't freeze. The quality was just as good. I thought it was pretty smooth. The only inconvenience that you do have, besides the fact that you can't rewind, is that when the show is over now, you're not going to immediately be carried into the next show of the network.
No.
Unless you're watching on the channel, but if you're just watching the event, you weren't automatically taken to Stone Cold Randy Orton podcast. You had to go into that, and
that's just like it's just a formatting thing that you didn't know until it happened. Yeah. So I don't think it's the worst because once you figure out, you can go over to the channel, you're fine. It's all there. It just picks up. The thing is, if you just click on it, you just think you're getting the channel. You think you're getting that feed. Here's the live show and here's the next program thing. I don't mind it. I also think the Peacock deal is a really good deal for fans because you get all this extra stuff and it puts the WWE brand. Mind you, NBC spent a lot of money to advertise this week. I saw this everywhere. This was on almost a bunch of different, there was some Google different things they did with it. It was everywhere on Facebook. Every time I pulled up Facebook, it was a bought ad at the top of my feed. It was all over Twitter. I think you'll only see more. And the integration of WWE with other big sports is going to be a big deal. I didn't mind this. I do think I wish they had everything right away. I think that would be cool. But $5, $5 and you can watch it with ads. It's fine. If you want to do the $10 thing, you get the same price you would pay for the network before. And you get all these other movies and all these other TV shows.
And keep in mind that, like, even though the show's already been over for 30 minutes, like, it is already on there, like, for instant replay. You can rewind and fast forward all you want now. That's not a problem now.
See, I get where it was cool, though, when you were doing the non-linear live stuff. Pause it, you're 2 minutes behind. That was awesome when you're doing live shows. Like, or when I'm coming home, because I was missing part of the beginning of the show, right? And I caught up with it because I did it on my phone. And as I mentioned, I switch over. I always loved it about the network. There's some great tech things they did with the network on its own that are awesome. Mind you, people outside the United States still get it. So I want to know what you guys are thinking about it. What did you enjoy on the show? I enjoyed it. Fun show. It has been the trend for the last 8-9 months now. Is some of the TV is odd in the build to a pay-per-view, but the matches on paper look strong. But there's this, is it gonna be okay? And then the show happens from WWE, and you get a great show. Happened at the Royal Rumble. I mean, Royal Rumble, people are always interested. It happened at Elimination Chamber, I think. It happened at Survivor Series. Some slightly lower than expected lower expectations, and then they over deliver. But this is WrestleMania. The expectations are always incredibly high for WrestleMania.
I'm excited for WrestleMania.
I believe we have some WrestleMania news. Don't we? We have some big WrestleMania news.
Well,
so, 4 months.
Well,
we want to get into it, or we want to talk about something else?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Okay. 4 months. Months and months and months. We're 40 minutes in the show, and if you guys haven't been following the show, you know that Mr. John Clark is a young man. He's not fearing the pandemic. He's in the different camp. Everyone has a different view of it. He wanted the Royal Rumble to be an event with fans. And even WWE was reportedly thinking about doing that. Now, obviously, things just didn't go that way with the pandemic. We had a really bad uptick. But you know what? People got the needles in the arms now like crazy. 23% of the adults over a certain age in the United States now getting vaccinated. WWE was doing PSAs for vaccination, like 2 or 3 of them tonight, right? So some of these events are happening. WrestleMania is happening. So WrestleMania is the determined date. You want to get those tickets. The demand was going to be high. Then it was supposed to go on sale last week. Then it was delayed. John Clark's quest to get tickets to his first WrestleMania has brought us to this news because, Mr. John Clark, are you going to the hallowed grounds of WrestleMania? There it is. There it is, dude. How relieved are you? How relieved are you at your tickets?
So the story of me getting the tickets was that when the pre-sale started, I joined the list literally the minute that you could. I was like 800, 900th in line. They let me into the sale. I waste absolutely no time. I pretty much click on the first pair that I see because they're going so fast. I get the checkout. I successfully get them, and like 10 minutes later, they were sold out for the pre-sale. And as of this show right now, all they have left are singles and very, very expensive tickets on the floor that are going for like $2,000 a piece at least.
And that's face value tickets, so that isn't even.
That is face value tickets from WWE. Yeah. If you go on StubHub right now and look at the secondary market, you're paying like almost triple what the face value was for your ticket.
And is that all around the arena?
All around the arena. So the seats
could come down. That could come down closer.
And it will closer to the event. The tickets that were being sold for $35 are on there right now for like 200 and something. So
Matthew Gerardo is saying a great thing here. He said they delayed putting those tickets on sale because of them stimmy checks, because of them stimulus checks. Everyone's waiting for their stimulus money to come in to buy WrestleMania tickets. This is a funny thing. I haven't got my last 2 stimulus checks. I haven't gotten them because I lived at a different apartment, and that's how I filed my taxes. And I haven't filed my new taxes yet. So they keep sending them to my old apartment.
Take a visit to that apartment.
I have to go to the apartment and find whoever lives there. And
try and throw it away.
Yeah. So I have to do that, or go through the hoops of the IRS. But no, this is cool. I don't want to ask what you spent on the ticket, but you spent more than $200, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get 2 tickets?
I got 2 for both nights. Yep.
All right. So you got 2 for both nights. Do you have the same seats for both nights?
Yes. Yep.
And what section are you going to be in?
It's 135, which is the section that's right behind the hard cam.
Perfect.
Not the floor, but the first actual section of the
even
stadium.
better, because then you don't have like all the lights on you the whole time. And you get to see everything. You have a perfect
might seat. See me on TV if you're watching. So.
There you go, John. He was in the Thunderdome, and now he's
a WrestleZone shirt.
Yeah. Oh, we got to get you a WrestleZone shirt.
I know.
You're going to WrestleMania. You're not going to be wearing. You wear it both nights. I don't want none of this. I bought merch
shirt,
one night.
Same everything.
Same shirt. I don't care how much you sweat in it. Wear that shirt.
It's gonna be like both 80 nights. There.
I know it's gonna be too hot. Yeah, people asking. Yeah, so you got tickets for both nights. And people saying WWE match for Kevin gets his stimulus checks. I'm gonna go up that ladder for $2,000, baby. That's what I'm doing. I want my government money in the bank. That's what I want. Oh man, yes. They say other people say I should kick in my old apartment door and yell, "Where's my stimmies?" Thank you so much, Jess Mata. I'm coming for my stimmies. I want my stimulus money. Yes, absolutely. Here, other people saying I saw 5th row 4 tickets on Ticketmaster for $5,100. No joke. That's crazy.
That's front row. That's how much it is for the front row.
Yeah. And so is that a resale? People are reselling it?
No, that's Ticketmaster because the issue they're having is that you obviously have to buy them in pods. Mm-hmm. So for that front row, you have to have a group of 4 to buy them, and you're not going to spend that money unless you actually have 4 people that are willing to spend $5,000 for a ticket.
Yeah, and then you're getting a group of people, and it's the COVID thing, and you have to get through all that different stuff. So, did they give you any COVID information, like how they check you in?
Yeah. So you're gonna get your temperature checked at the gate. You have to download the WrestleMania app on your phone, and fill out a health questionnaire starting at midnight the day of the event. So you have to answer those questions, which obviously, if you wanted to, you could lie, but they're still going to take your temperature at the gate.
Due diligence. It's a due diligence
they're
thing.
They're giving you like a health kit like the Super Bowl did. So you're going to get a mask, you're going to get hand sanitizer, and for some reason you're going to get earplugs there too. I don't know why you need them, but
it's loud.
So you're gonna get all that given to you, and then
you don't have to listen to a dumbass like me say smarky things for 4 hours. It's fine.
Doors are opening at 4:30 with the pre-show event starting at 6:30. So you're gonna have 2 hours to get everybody in, and you have to enter the gate that you're assigned to. And then the most interesting part was you have to sign a waiver that says if you get sick or if you die or if anything happens, you are signing away all of your rights to them. You cannot sue.
Were you not expecting that?
Well, I was expecting that, but they mentioned for any reason, not just COVID, if anything happens at all, like any kind of injury, it says if you're injured in any way due to something at this event, you are signing your rights away for attending this event. They're covering all their bases. We have the link up on WrestleZone it's like 200 pages long of all of these things that basically say you can't sue us, you can't do this. Mm-hmm. Once you enter the stadium, it's at your own risk. It's all that stuff.
It's interesting. Interesting to say the least. I'm just surprised that would be a part of it, and interesting thing here. I want to know about this story. I'm trying to find this out here. There are people saying there's some issue with Batista in the WWE Hall of Fame this year. And it's interesting here. What can you tell me?
So what we know as of now is that Dave Batista is in Australia, I believe, filming a movie, and he's unable to make it to wherever they're going to be filming. I don't know why they couldn't do this remotely, so we can't confirm anything. But the last that we know is that he is no longer a shoo-in to be inducted this year, and his induction page on WWE.com was taken down this weekend.
So there's been no confirmation from WWE or Batista's camp about this, though.
Correct. There's been no confirmation. Just some reporting from PW Insider and Fightful Select that he's no longer a shoo-in as he was before.
All right, so that maybe there's just a delay. They're going to wait and do it another time. So
yeah,
it's certainly an interesting scenario. Maybe this means that they're going to do a full-fledged event of some kind, for the Hall of Fame. And we were thinking we were getting a virtual thing. I think we'll get a mix of both. I think we saw legends appear for the Undertaker send-off back in November, and they had to go through all the testing protocols and different things like that. I could see WWE doing a private Thunderdome Hall of Fame, and I'm fine with that. I think that's actually, I'm actually okay with that. Like I think that's fine. The real focus is WrestleMania that weekend and trying to make that work here.
Absolutely.
Jay Feliciano has been on the show, former WWE live event producer. Jay's been a contributor to WrestleZone here for a while. I appreciate that. He says, more unique WrestleMania I Was There merch, branded face masks, earplugs, hand sanitizer. Get ready, eBay. How much are you going to be selling your WrestleMania mask on eBay right away?
I might try after the show. I did buy the $25 commemorative magnet that they're only selling 500 of. I was one of the ones that were able to get that. They're actually there's a picture of it on Ticketmaster. It's on my Twitter if you want to see it. But they're engraved in the wood, like they engraved it with.
Oh,
the
neat!
number.
And it looks very piratey. And
yes, with the unique number. So the early collectors, people that like to collect stuff, are saying that you will probably be able to sell that for $300 to $400, and I paid $25 for it. So
that's pretty neat. And you didn't know that.
I plan on keeping it. Well, I plan on keeping it anyway, but it would be.
There was I had. In terms of a merch, something I sold. I sort of regret it, but I was okay with it. I found it at a vintage store, and I knew it was a find. It was a 1986 NWA Jim Crockett Productions printed T-shirt. It said so on the tag on the back, and it was purple like this actually, and it was Dusty Rhodes, Nikita Koloff, the Road Warriors, and Ric Flair, and it was the Crockett Cup 1986. and it looked really cool. It was embossed, and they were it was like paintings of them, and it just looked awesome, like good, cool, fun 80s stuff. And it was like a soft mesh. And I found it at a vintage shop, and it was like $15.
Yeah, and
I sold that shirt for $150.
These kits aren't really worth too much. Like the Super Bowl health kits are only going for $20 on eBay right now.
Who wants to buy those though? Like, what's the appeal of that?
I don't know. Like collectors are really finicky about that stuff. You had the option to buy the $150 collectible folding chair this year.
Mm-hmm.
They made sure they noted that you will not be picking this up at the event. It will be shipped to your house.
What, the health kit?
No. The magnet and the chair.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, because they don't want people leaving with the chairs and spreading germs and stuff.
Yes.
No.
So
the chairs are sweet. And they're really serious about those like floor chairs at WWE events. I'm sitting in a Survivor Series chair now from 2019, and I went, and they were really, really serious about that because you had to print out your ticket and you had to have it with them, and they would check. And if you left the event early, you couldn't bring the chair with you. So if you have a WrestleMania chair, you can't just like pick it up. All right, I don't want to watch the main event. I'm out of here. Right? Yep. No, you have to stay until the end of the show.
Yep.
So some people got really mad about that, especially in New Jersey when the show went so late, and they were taking the chairs that people weren't doing and putting them in a pile. And I guess they gave those to charity or whatever. Definitely interesting stuff here with WrestleMania, the merchandise, all that fun stuff. You're gonna have a good time, John. You're gonna enjoy it, and we're gonna make you post a bunch of different things on our Twitter. On our
I got absolutely everything I need now, except I just gotta get parking now for the stadium.
All right. Well, once you get parking, we'll do a pre-show from the parking lot. We'll have you like set up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll do something from the parking lot, and we'll have you set up there. It'll be certainly interesting. And if you guys are going to WrestleMania, let us know what's going on with it. We're down to talk to fans and do some more cool stuff.
We'll get you on the show with Kevin. Just let me know.
I'm down, dude. I'm down to do something with fans on screen. I know we have our co-hosts and our regular stream of people. We have a lot of great content out right now on our podcast feed. Eric Bischoff just did an interview with us just before it was announced he's going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, a 49-minute interview with him. Big E and his team behind his upcoming animated project, telling people about great African-American heroes through history called Our Heroes Rocks. We talked to that team and that project and their fundraising efforts to get that project made. Very, very cool stuff. You can check out those interviews now in our video and podcast channels. Also, check us out on Twitch. I'm going to be doing some streaming events. I'm going to be streaming Retromania. I may do that later on tonight. So if you guys follow our Twitch, make sure you turn your notifications on there. Give us a follow. And we're going to be doing some exclusive things on Twitch, I think, before WrestleMania. Maybe some watch-alongs and different stuff like that, too. Just a lot of fun stuff. WrestleMania is in a few weeks. We're going to give you a ton of content, and we're going to make it worth your while. If you're with us during this very, very big time of the year, we're looking forward to it here. for an insight. How much does an autograph 8x10 of Kev Kellum go for on eBay? It goes for negative money. All right. Like you're going to have like eBay is going to ask you for money trying to sell that. They would want to charge me for that being out there. No autograph 8x10s, but I will say I'm feeling cool being out there. I did some shows this past weekend at the Market Lounge, Valparaiso, Indiana. I did 2 shows on Friday. They added me to 2 more on Saturday, which was awesome. I did 4 shows in front of 4 audiences, vaccinated. Everyone kept their distance. Everyone wore their masks. There's a way to do this, guys. There is a way to live our lives in some way. There's no green light go. We can all just be out and have our, booger factories running all over each other. No, but wear your mask. Be cool, John. You're cool. Like you know what's up. You don't have to be a Karen and go and ruin everyone's day at a grocery store. Try and make it a political thing and yell. Come on. You know what I mean? We're 20 days away from WrestleMania. And maybe it's not the best WrestleMania we ever seen, but it's a WrestleMania in front of fans. And that is irrefutably awesome. As I've been saying, the main event of WrestleMania is going to be John Clark and 24,999 other people. Like it's going to be you and the other 25,000 that are there. That is special. I think that's special. Join the ride with us here. All right. A lot of great content coming out from us Monday through Sunday, man. We're even doing the SmackDown Double Down on Saturday mornings now. So definitely make sure whatever channel you get us on that you're updating it. You know about those bonus interviews and you go and download. Oh, I heard him talk about it. Go get it. Go listen to them. We have a bunch of stuff in our back catalog you can check. that isn't just like the topical week to week things too. And if you guys check out those interviews, tell me what you think of them. If you don't like them, you don't like this extra stuff, hey, can you guys do more of this? I have no problem doing that for the Vernons, for the Thomases, for the Neshes, for the James Espantos, for Fan Sports 5. I appreciate you guys. I really, really do. Someone says they bought tickets for WrestleMania. Like,
interesting.
A guy's name is Russell. Is that just all Jack Russell Terriers just running around on a field?
I don't know.
I have a WrestleMania story. I do have a WrestleMania story. It involves a dog. And I will tell that story tomorrow night. For the diehard people, I'm not going to give it away now. It is, and I may have mentioned this years ago on the podcast, but it is one of the most heartwarming, demented, trash bag Florida stories I've ever heard. And you hear Florida man. This was a Florida dog story. And we will talk about a dog named WrestleMania. This is real. This happened to me in 2012 in Hollywood Beach, Florida, not Hollywood Beach, California. And I will tell that story tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome here. People talking about my Purple Rain t-shirt. So yes, when doves cry, doves will cry. John Clark will cry because he's gonna be so happy at WrestleMania. It's gonna be awesome. People want to follow you on the Twitter machine. Where do they go, bud?
John R. Clark 12.
You can follow me at KevKellam. That's KEVKELLAM. And if you haven't done it already, go ahead and share the link to this podcast so you can win this Roman Reigns action figure here. All right. If you're listening on the podcast side of things, go ahead and tag us on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. Tell us your favorite match on WWE Fastlane this weekend. And also on the Facebook side, if you guys share this as well, tell us your favorite match in the post. Not just share the link, but share this live stream. If you do it on YouTube, wherever, just make sure you tag us so we can know that you did it. And we're going to give one of these away and start mailing this out hopefully soon this week. All right. So thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Thought it was a fun show. Enjoying all the different fun things. Life's starting to slowly get back to normal. Be safe. Cover your nose. Shut down your spittle hole, your mouth. All right. Get out there. Avoid the fireballs from Alexa Bliss. All right. Avoid people selling you knockoff merchandise. There'll be a lot of knockoff merchandise. Beware of that. A lot of knockoff merchandise outside of WrestleMania. John Clark, take your temperature every day. Be safe. Take your vitamins. All those good things. Because remember, when watching wrestling, you have but one option. And what is that choice? Choice, young Jonathan. Tell them what it is.
Enjoy wrestling.
Enjoy it.